Good morning, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah-Brooke Stiles, Clinical Director of Mind Body Integrative Therapy. Today I want to talk about this concept of self-talk. Many people have heard of positive self-talk, negative self-talk in the realm of mental health. And it's a big deal. Words matter. So to talk about self-talk, I'd like to start at the brain and how the brain perceives threat. So the brain does not distinguish between physical threat and emotional threat. So when a child is teased, bullied, say at school, their brain and body are responding to that teasing the same way and to the same intensity as if that bully was physically harming that child. So keep that in mind as we talk about the narrative, the self-talk we have with ourselves. When we approach ourselves in a really critical way, be better, do better, you should be better at this, you should be better at that, or you'll never amount to anything, or there's all different ranges, clearly, right? With negative self-talk, it can feel kind of minute in more of a critical sense, and it also can become, for some individuals, really intense negative self-talk of pretty self-deprecating. Also, with people who've been through trauma and challenging things in their lives, oftentimes their self-talk can be very negative. And oftentimes it's the voice of someone in their past who has said some pretty awful things to themselves, and that voice kind of has stuck in their head and often can be misinterpreted as their own voice. So what happens when we are negatively talking to ourselves is we're basically putting the body and brain on alert that there is a threat, an imminent threat to its safety, and also simultaneously we are the threat to ourselves. And so the nervous system, as you can imagine, just freaks out because it's there's a threat to my survival, and the threat is itself. And so what do I do, right? I panic, I have anxiety, I have depression, I have control problems. I have that tension within oneself can display in so many different ways. Eating disorders, substance use, just many, many different ways it can present itself. So what do we do with this? Well, I am a big component of building relationship with self. And so when we talk about building relationship, what are some really key components to building a healthy relationship with another person, right? Authenticity, vulnerability, openness, forgiveness, good communication. Those are just some pieces, right? And so how do we apply that to ourselves? Well, it's not going to feel very authentic if we are talking shit to ourselves one day and the next day we're like, oh, I love you so much, you're the best, right? So by no means am I suggesting anyone do that. But can you tone it down a bit? If you are really critical on yourself, can you become aware of that inner voice and ask it to tone down? So instead of saying you need to go to the gym for an hour and a half and sweat it out, or you're lazy, could it tone down to, it would feel good to go to the gym. Can you give it your best shot? Right? Just an example. On a more extreme level, if the inner talk is you're worthless, you're never going to amount to anything, right? Some really, really significant negative internal talk. Can it step down a notch to, I don't know what your point, what your identity is. I don't know where you're going in life. But maybe you aren't worthless. Maybe there is, possibly there's some intrinsic worth. So give this a try. Words really do matter. If you don't know of Dr. Emoto's water experiments, look it up on YouTube. Water crystals have been researched and shown to shift and change based on like words used towards them, said to them, written on them. And so check it out. It's a real thing. All right. Thanks for coming to my channel. My dog is now deciding my video should be over. I hope you come visit again.